What's up, good people? It's yours truly, Natasha Varela, 20 plus years in audit, accounting, and tax, 13 in the large business and international division of yours truly, the Internal Revenue Service, where I examined large entities that report 10 million or more in gross receipts and or assets, enrolled agent, tax strategist, business owner, real estate investor. I want to talk to you about 1099 contractors. For those of you who engage in 1099 contract work, I want to say it's super important for you to utilize a payroll company. Now, I know when you think payroll company, you think employees, but most payroll companies handle contractors as well. And I'll tell you why it's important to hire an actual payroll company to engage in contractor work. What ends up happening, particularly with small businesses, is you engage in the work, and then when you look to take the expense, you need to issue a 1099 to the person that you paid. Unfortunately, a lot of times they don't want to report the income, so they're gone, right? They've ghosted you. So it's important now that you get their information ahead of time before actually engaging in the project. So once you agree on a price and the scope of work, the first thing you need to do is ask that contractor for an email. Once you send the email out via your payroll company, for instance, I use Gusto, you can use ADP, whatever have you, whatever payroll company you choose to use. You plug in their email and an email is sent via the company for them to fill out their information, which is a W-9, right? Instead of you manually having to pull a W-9 and have them fill it out and then send it back to you via email, and then having to fill out a 1099 manually and make sure you issue it before January 31st of every year. That's a lot of work, particularly for a lot of small businesses. It's easier just to have the email, have the payroll company send out the email, and it's really easy. It's intuitive. You just plug in their email when you're hiring them, and they onboard themselves via the information sent via the payroll company for the email that they gave you, and they are onboarded, right? And all you have to do is click pay contractors as long as you link your business bank account. And then you plug in the amounts and let the payroll company do all the work. By the time January rolls around, they have prepared all the 1099s for you. You don't have to sit there and manually fill out all the 1099 information because they've already received the information when you sent out the email when you hired the contractor, right? So if you utilize a lot of contractors, maybe 5, 6, 7 contractors, and again, this is for people who don't accept credit cards, right? If you have a contractor that has an actual payment processor, you may not have to issue a 1099 because the payment processor will issue the 1099 for them, right? You don't have to do so. But if you're engaging in work and they want, say, a Zelle or a Cash App or whatever have you, it's best to just enroll them in your payroll company, right, profile. You can hit hire contractor, again, get the email, plug in the email, hit send. They will fill out all the information. The payroll company will retain all their information and prepare all the 1099s. And with some payroll companies, they'll even issue the 1099 and file it to the IRS for you. So you don't have to do anything. All you had to do was get the email. So again, please don't engage in contract work without getting W-9 information, even if you don't use a payroll company, which I suggest, especially if you have many. Make sure you get the W-9 first, because if you don't, a lot of times when you're ready to take the deduction and you have to issue a 1099, remember, because when you pay someone, it's income to them and they must report it, right? So if you want to take the deduction, you must issue the 1099. And a lot of times they'll be gone, long and gone, or maybe you even forgot who they were, right? Because the year is over. So just a little tidbit, if you're, hiring a contractor, just use the payroll company. Let them retain all of the information, pay the fee. It's all tax deductible. A good payroll company is paid probably about $50 a month, tax deductible. And again, it's not only for employees, it's also for contractors.